I survived my first semester of art school, and here's everything that I have made. So first of all, I am majoring in fine arts at College of the Arts, and I'm in 2 art classes. One is observation and visualization, and the other one is color and composition. Both very art school names, I think, very posh. I'll go through observation and visualization first. The beginning of the class was learning a lot about like perspective, and the second part of the class was more like straying away from that and getting to do more of our own stuff, which I definitely liked more. I'll start with the bigger pieces first. So, okay, oh my gosh. This is actually insane. This is like one of the first things that we did. You're gonna be shocked when you see this. Yeah, it looks like a blank page. You can kind of see like marks somewhere, but basically, we were looking at like a still life with all these like cubes and stuff, but we could only mark points of where like the corners were, and like just like tiny little marks. Maybe you can see it over here. Yeah. But it was like, oh, that was so hard to get like the perspective right and everything with just those little marks. It's crazy. But I just think it's funny to try to show this to people and see if they can even see it at all. Okay, and then from there, our next assignment was to do the same thing, but basically connect the dots. So it's like an actual drawing. So here's that. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty basic, but still cool. This one was really interesting, actually. It was another still life, but a lot of this drawing is actually not done from me. We got to all kind of draw on each other's drawings, and part of it was that we couldn't look at the still life while we were drawing. We had to like, the easels were turned away, so we had to look at the still life, then turn around and like kind of draw it from memory. And then everyone would go to each other's drawings and like kind of like fix some stuff and change it a bit. And it was really fun like exercise, honestly. I think it turned out pretty cool, so. And here's another still life drawing. We did a lot of those at the beginning of the year. This one was in charcoal, but we could only use 3 values. So I think maybe it's kind of hard to really even tell what it is. But yeah, we could only use like a gray, a white, and a black. And it just looks like very high contrast. Okay, this one I am a big fan of my own work, okay? So it's this charcoal drawing that we did, and we basically, there was like a whole like room of like little objects that you could use for still lifes. And I chose this little shell, and then we set it up and everyone just kind of got to draw their own thing. And I added a lot of details on the shell, and I think it looks really nice. Oh, I think it's cool. And then, okay, so this one again was just kind of more of like an exercise. We didn't really have like freedom to like do what we wanted with this one, but it's just like these boxes, like it was just like a 2-point perspective exercise. So it's just really a bunch of cubes with like cut out shapes and stuff. I don't know, I think it's actually upside down. I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway, but I guess it's kind of cool. Okay, moving on to some of the smaller pieces. This one was, it was a drawing from observation, and we worked on like using like varying line weights to push the depth of the space. So like the lines in the background are a lot lighter than the ones in the foreground. This is also like one of the first things we did in the class. Okay, and then this one was another drawing from observation. Wow, the glare is really bad. There you go. If I tilt it, you can kind of see it. We chose like 2 objects from our room, and then one had to be like the main character and one had to be the supporting character. I'm sure you can see which is which in my composition. But I mean, I think the drawing itself turned out great. I mean, look at that Doc Martin. Yeah, I like it. It's not the most like inventive thing ever, but this was a 1-point perspective drawing. It's actually not entirely 1-point perspective because of these chairs are like turned to the side. I also used like the line weight to show like what was in the foreground versus the background. You can see the lines back here very light. That's so art school of me. Now this one, It's kind of crazy. Like, what is this? It was basically, it's kind of part of a bigger assignment, but this assignment, we had to find, we used like magazine cutouts and like trace them on the paper into like some kind of crazy like composition like this, where there's just a bunch of like random, seemingly random shapes. And then we had to ink it, which I think just kind of ruined mine, because I think I made like this part way too dark and then the rest is like so light. Folks, I don't know about this one. My favorite thing that I did for that class is actually in an exhibition right now, so I don't have it with me, but I will insert a picture here. But this one, we basically, we took a bunch of pictures, like 20 pictures of the same area, just from like some different angles and stuff. And then we made like a collage out of it. We like cut it up and like we could like tear it, do whatever really, taped it together, made a collage, and then traced that onto paper. We used ink to like fill it in. We could do whatever. We could use like micron pens. And I really like how mine turned out. I think it's like never something that I would like ever think to do on my own. So the assignment was like really interesting. It was a challenge for sure, but I think it turned out so cool. I think my professor also liked this one a lot. For the exhibition that it's in, like everyone from our class got to like choose something from the semester in that class that was like their favorite thing that they made. And my professor like sent out an email promoting the exhibition, and he chose my artwork to be featured in it, and I was the only one. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the very last thing, this is our final, and it's due tomorrow morning. So I just finished it like probably 2 hours ago. The assignment was to have like 2 images right next to each other. Could do it in graphite, charcoal, or ink. I chose charcoal. The images that you choose have like seemingly nothing to do with each other, but once you put them next to each other, they start to tell a story. And I'm really proud of how this turned out. I don't have like a fixative on it or anything. Charcoal gets like very messy and smears a lot, so I'm gonna be really careful with this. Sorry, there's a fuzzy on it. Have I ever made anything this realistic? I don't know. Oh my gosh, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of smudging it just by holding it up like this. But my lord, I think this turned out so cool. I think maybe charcoal is just my thing. I don't know. I don't want to hold it up for too long, so I'll put a picture over here. But basically, I think the story that I kind of came up with in my head of how they connected was like the tear of the shoe and the tear of like the poster on the tree. The first thought I had was just it kind of symbolizing like feeling like things are like falling apart in life and just like not going your way. I think it could be different things. It could also be just like the natural like wear and tear of your environment around you, and almost just the beauty of imperfections. Maybe I'm getting too philosophical on this, you tell me. But yeah, this hasn't been critiqued yet. That is happening tomorrow morning, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's all for observation and visualization. On to color and comp. Okay, so in this pile, I have a bunch of like exercises that we did for color and comp. I don't feel like they're very interesting, but I figure I'd show each of them a little bit. I don't even want to explain them. I don't have the energy right now. It's literally finals week. But maybe they'd be kind of cool to see anyway. But that's that. Now onto the actual pieces. So the very first assignment we had was to create 3 separate paintings that tell a story, but you can only use like simple shapes, and you can only use 4 colors, white, black, and to other whatever colors you want to use. So here's mine. This is the first one. This is the second one. And this is the third one. You know, I don't know if I want to say what they mean. If anyone wants to guess or give it some kind of read, sound off in the comments. Okay, next was asymmetrical and symmetrical no tan designs. So this was my symmetrical one. I think it kind of just looks like a QR code. That's pretty cool. Very precise, I must say. And here's the non-symmetrical, or sorry, asymmetrical one. I remember people in class saying that it felt like the four like different elements or something. I don't know, not what I was going for, but sure. And then this one was like an interior exterior space. So half of it had to be inside, half outside, basically just looking out a window. And we used just like pen for this one. And we had to use different techniques like hatching, cross hatching, stippling, you know, everything really. I think, I don't know, the inside turned out really cool on this one. But I was working on it for so long that I just didn't really save much time for the buildings. So I feel like they turned out kind of wonky. But you know, if we don't look at that part, you know, I think this side is pretty cool. Okay, this one, we actually got to go to an art museum. We picked a painting that, we picked an artwork there that inspired us. And then we used that painting to make a color palette. And then from there, we made two different paintings. One had to be more abstract and the other had to be more, wow, I'm so tired I can't even think of the word, symbolic or whatever, not abstract. But one of them was supposed to use like the same like ratio of colors in the color palette, and one of them was supposed to not do that. I think this one was supposed to use the same amount of colors, and then this one was just supposed to be whatever, but I honestly didn't really think too much about that. I don't know. The assignment was not my favorite. But this one was a self-portrait, and it was all monochromatic, but also it was a collage. So,
Hi.
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 Hello.
They're just coming to stop that.
Oh my gosh, I just watched back the footage of when my roommate walked in. That was good. I'm glad I got that on video. I'm so awkward. Whatever. Anyway, it was a collage. So we basically got to cut up or tear up a bunch of paper and glue it on and make it look like ourselves. And you know what? I think I did that. That's me. Wait, let me put on my glasses. That's literally me. No, yeah, I had so much fun with this one. I spent a lot of time with it, and it's all torn. Did not cut a single piece. Definitely some of my best work. And then my last thing for this class, which is my final, which I finished yesterday night. I worked on it for like so long yesterday, like 7-8 hours, I don't know, 6 hours, 7, I'm just saying numbers at this point. I am going insane. Here it is. How do I feel about it? It's kind of bent. Let me try to unbend that a little bit. You know, we had critiques for it today. We actually didn't get to mine though. We're doing mine and some other people's on Wednesday. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. This is like an interior exterior collage. So like this part and this part are not from the same picture. I like collage them together. It's supposed to be like looking out through a window. That's supposed to be like a window glare. That's like the window pane. The thing is, I don't know if like any of this comes across. Overall, I think it's a cool painting. I think the trees look cool. The buildings are nice, I guess. I wish I Probably would have, I wish I would have put some more details into the salad. It's looking a little wonky to me. There's some clam chowder also. I don't know, what do we think about this one? I haven't gotten feedback on it yet. Well, that's literally everything. Wait! How could I forget this mask? I literally made this. I also failed to mention that I made this doodle page that I already hung up on my wall. I could also include my animation that I finished today. So here's my animation that I made. All hand-drawn, like 59 pictures or something. Oh my gosh. I spent, oh my gosh, so much time. So I actually need to get a camera because every time I try to make a video, I run out of storage. But cameras are really expensive. Ooh. Anyway, I hope you liked seeing all the art that I did this semester. It was a lot of work. I enjoyed most of it. I think you can tell which pieces I liked the most. I hope you're excited to see my second semester. Anyway, that's it, I guess.